Hello students and family members, welcome to our first lesson in multiplication. We'll be asking the question, what is multiplication? Or multiplication is ... as well as how do we draw an array? Let's first take a look at what multiplication actually is. Multiplication is repeated addition. What exactly does that mean? Let me show you. Repeatedly adding a certain number of groups. So, in this case, we're looking at 6 times 3, which can be represented by the total number of groups, which is 3, added together, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6. So we have the number 6 that is fitting into 3 equal groups. The way I like to look at that is thinking as though I have 3 boxes of crayons, and inside each box of crayon, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total crayons. So a certain number of groups of something fitting in somewhere else. Another example, 17 times 4 is nothing more than saying 17 plus 17 plus 17 plus 17. In other words, I have 4 total groups of the number 17. Here's my first crayon box with 17 crayons in it, my second crayon box with 17 crayons, my third and my fourth box, which all have 17 total crayons. Another example, 235 times 5 is 235 plus what, plus what, plus what, plus what? Well, if you're getting the concept of repeatedly adding a certain number by a certain number of groups, then you'll understand that I have to put the number 235 on each of these question mark lines, which in this case would give me a total of 5 groups of 235. And you would notice that if I multiply 235 by 5, I'm going to get the same exact answer if I find the product or multiplication answer to 235 times 5. What if I replaced it with smiley faces? It doesn't matter. 2,136 times 3 means I have 3 equal groups that are being added together. Or 2,136 plus 2,136 plus 2,136. So smiley face is equivalent to the total number that is being separated into equal groups. When you repeatedly add them, the number grows. That's what multiplication is. We also need to consider other examples. 63 times 3 would be 63 plus 63 plus 63. 147 times 4 would be 147 plus 147 plus 147 plus 147. 4 equal groups of 147. 3 equal groups with 63 pieces in them. 7,831 times 4 doesn't matter. Take a look at the total number of groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, represented by a smiley face, and then create those numbers. So the smileys will be replaced by 7,831. You repeatedly add that number 4 times. I'm not asking you for the product in this question. I just want to see, do you understand that multiplication is repeated addition? That's the first step. Now let's take a look at drawing an array. How do we draw an array? Well, depending on the example that we see, in this case, I'm going to put 8 times 6. You need to follow these 4 steps every single time. The first step is you need to determine which number you will skip count by and place touch points on that number. This group will become your total groups. So if I like skip counting by the 6s, I'm going to put my 6 touch points over on my 6 just to remind myself that I need 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, and 6 groups. You can represent those groups with circles, smiley faces, X's, stars, hearts, anything you want. Just recognize that whichever one you put the touch points on, in this case that was the 6, that's how many groups you're going to have moving down a page. Lots of students like to use lined paper for this. That leaves us with one number, this 8, which means I start here, 1, and I have to go all the way across because I have 6 equal groups of 8. So there's my first 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I can't just leave the rest blank. I have to try and keep them as accurately to scale as possible, keeping them about the same size and moving them across the page from left to right. You have to make sure that you have gone 6 all the way down and 8 across. What we are doing is we are creating a picture representation of a multiplication problem. This picture is representing the fact that we have 6 groups with 8 total pieces in those groups. And if I were to repeatedly add 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, I'm going to get the same answer as if I were to multiply 8 times 6. What we like to show the students is this is a picture representation of a multiplication problem. And sure, I could add all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Why would I want to do that when I could just multiply 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48? I certainly could double check and make sure that there are 48 in my array, but you can represent it with a picture and simply do the multiplication problem, showing that you understand that you are drawing dots for your total number of groups, which is the line going down, and then dots for the total number of rows going across, and then solving the multiplication problem. That's how you draw an array, and repeated addition is what multiplication is. Thank you.